Hey, it's Michal, and I have one message for you today. Just as important as the quality of the copywriting on your webpage is the messaging hierarchy. In simpler terms, the order of your sections, the flow of the sections on your homepage or landing page. Because if you have great copy, but the sections don't flow intuitively from one to the next, and they don't mirror the conversation going through your reader's brain, then the experience for your reader is going to be jarring, and the copy and the message is going to be super hard for them to absorb. So, with that, I'd love to walk you through the strategy, the flow, the messaging hierarchy of an actual homepage that I recently wrote for an amazing client during an intensive VIP day. The name of the client is Hunker, and I'll give you a little bit of background. Actually, I won't give you any background because I would love for you to absorb the copy, and hopefully you'll be able, if the copy is doing its job well, you'll be able to gather what this product is and why it's valuable and who it's for rather quickly. So first of all, before we even focus on the copy, can we just take a minute and give a nice round of applause for the awesome visual branding of this brand? Hunker comes from the word hunks of code. This is a product that analyzes hunks of code, and you'll understand that better soon. The visuals that they created for this brand, if you see in the logo over here and further down the page, we have the tentacle of an octopus. We have fish all over the place. You feel like you're in this deep sea underworld throughout the landing page. And the metaphor there is because an octopus is a uniquely intelligent and adaptable creature. So not only is this product all about intelligence, helping you be smarter and more strategic in how you operate, but an octopus also has a very unique ability to camouflage itself and to move and blend in very seamlessly in its surroundings. And you'll see soon that this product as well, it operates smoothly in the background. It doesn't disrupt your operations. It gets the job done, and it gives you an amazing outcome without getting in the way, without making a lot of noise and messing things up. So with that, let's take a look at the hero section. So first we have over here what I like to call eyebrow copy, which is a very small category term at the top of the page that immediately orients the reader and tells them the category of the given product or offer that they're about to read about. So right away we see performance intelligence. Okay, I don't know what Hunker is, but I understand from this that it has something to do with performance intelligence. It's going to be giving me intelligence about performance. Okay, let me read on. Do you know where your engineering spend is going? Now, if I am the leader of a developer team, this question is going to hit hard. And by the way, that's the target for this page. The answer to that question is no, I don't really know. I have 3 teams overseas working on development of the software, of the product we're developing, and they are billing hundreds or thousands of dollars every single month. And I have no clue if I am getting enough value for that money. If I'm not, I really don't know where my engineering spend is going. That's another tip, by the way. In copy, you never want to ask a question unless you're fairly confident of the answer. So in this case, if you know where your engineering spend is going, fantastic. This product is not for you. But if you don't know, then you want to read on. Now, here's where the subhead gives a little bit of clarity. So we grab the reader's attention, we grab their eyeballs and their interest with the hero header, and the subhead is going to give more detail and clarity. Leaders rely on Hunker to remove bottlenecks, reduce costs, and get more value for every dollar spent. Whew, that's nice. Those are the big picture outcomes. If I want to remove bottlenecks in my engineering spend, in my development work, I want to lower costs, I want to get more value for the money I'm spending anyway, then Hunker may be able to help me do that. Then we have a nice call to action, get early access. Hunker is not yet available to the public, with, by the way, a nice little arrow over here that really draws the eye to the button and is very effective from a UX point of view. If I'm not ready to sign up, I'm not interested yet, I want to learn more before I sign up for early access, then I can click over here, what makes Hunker different? Maybe I'm already familiar with other tools in the performance intelligence category, and I'm going to want to understand, okay, why is this unique? So then I can jump to the section on the page that's going to communicate the differentiators. Okay, just below the hero messaging, we have a nice product image. This gives you a little bit of the sense of what your reporting dashboard would look like if you sign up with Hunker, and how it would enable you to have that transparency into your developer team and what they're doing and how productive they're being at any given moment. And notice this amazing tentacle of the octopus. I love it. So now that we established the basic problem that Hunker solves and the outcome, the value prop that the product offers, now we're going to get more detailed and we're going to dig into the problem a little bit more. Do you have transparency into your developer team? Again, a question that's going to hit hard for all the right people, because nearly all developer leaders don't have the transparency they really want into their team. Most engineering leaders don't. Now, this is so important because when you are communicating a problem, you never want your target, your prospect, to feel badly about themselves, to feel shame. I'm not good enough. I'm not measuring up. Everyone else has transparency into their engineering spend, and I have no clue what's going on. So right away, we show that empathy and we say, hey, it's not that you're stupid. It's not that you're incompetent. Most engineering leaders don't have this transparency either, so you are in very good company. So that automatically makes them more open to continuing to read on and to absorb the message. As their teams grow, it gets harder to identify gaps and ensure maximum productivity. So now we're saying, listen, it's not your fault. It's just the natural outgrowth of the fact that your team is getting bigger. It's a fantastic problem to have. As your team gets bigger, as your organization grows, it just gets harder and harder to have real transparency into your team and their productivity. And here is where we visualize the problem in a very, very visual way. How much you're paying your engineering team, how much you should be paying them. And then we have this question over here. Do these numbers even align? So what we're doing here is just raising the question. We're not being presumptuous. We're not saying, hey, you know something? You are spending way too much money on your engineering team. They are overpriced and you are throwing money away every single month. We're not making presumptions about what's going on in their business. Maybe things are great. Maybe they are maximizing their spend. Maybe they're not. We're raising the conversation so it doesn't come across as patronizing or aggressive. We're just asking and opening the question in their mind. Do these numbers align? Am I paying them what makes sense for the value that they're giving me? Nobody really knows. It's not your fault. No one knows. It's just too hard to keep track. And this knowledge can cost your organization hundreds of thousands of dollars each month. So we're agitating the problem a little bit more because this is a relatively new category and a relatively new product, which a lot of the readers reading this page may not yet be familiar. And that's why we're focusing a little bit more than usual on the problem over here, because we're painting the picture of the problem so that they can then become more interested in the solution. They are not necessarily solution aware or product aware at this time. And now that we presented the problem in all its glory, and we showed very visually how much money they could be losing each month, now we create a vision of what could be possible. What if you could reliably answer questions like, how much budget could be recovered if performance improved? Which developers offer the best value? Who do I really want to keep on board? Which developers are underperforming relative to their potential? That's not such a fun question, but that's another important question to answer. So we established the problem, we got a little bit more detailed without being aggressive, without being presumptuous. We got them feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and now we're saying, hey, what if there was a different way? What if there was a different reality you could opt into? Voila! Now we present the solution. If this reality sounds compelling to you, Hunker is the platform that measures dev productivity with precision and ease. Nice definition, clear definition of the product. And notice these waves over here. I love it. So it's just like such a cool transition from the problem to the solution section. Again, we have another screenshot over here to give you a sense. Hunker exists to help financial leaders get a firm grip on their engineering investment and ensure every dollar is well spent. So just a little bit more clarity, a little bit more detail on what the product is. And then we do something really important, because if I'm the engineering leader listening to this, I'm like, hey, this sounds cool. This sounds really nice. But you know something? I don't have the time or willingness to tolerate headache to bring in a whole complicated software into my team that's going to annoy people, that's going to get in the way, that's going to slow people down. There's that immediate concern and objection that comes up. So boom, we address that objection right here, high up on the page, and there's no change to your dev team's process. Hunker collects and analyzes key data points while running quietly in the background, just like an octopus. So there's no risk to your team, there's no annoyance to your team, there's no disruption. It just operates in the background while giving you amazing intelligence that can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars each year. Then they're like, okay, this sounds really cool. Remember, we're talking about messaging hierarchy. This sounds cool. It's not going to mess things up. It's not going to get in the way. But is it for me? Is it for my size organization, my size company? Well, here's the answer to that. Built for enterprise, available for everyone. So right away, we're calling out to enterprise because that is the number one target. But we also want to make clear that any organization of any size can benefit from the intelligence that Hunker provides, as long as it's a developer team, obviously, because that's what Hunker is for. Hunker is designed for large teams, but its analytics can power productivity in dev teams of any size. And then once again, we summarize the core value prop in a very short, succinct, visual way. Identify and fix problems, right size your resources, which means make sure that your team isn't too big or isn't too small given your needs, and then improve performance. So this is like the value prop and the process, like a sequential process all in one. Then we move on to the next section. I'm intrigued. This sounds awesome. It's not going to mess things up. But what if I'm a more aware leader and I've already considered some other similar tools in this category? Why should I consider Hunker? What makes Hunker different? And that's the answer that the next section addresses. The Hunker difference. Our metrics were developed by actual scientists. That is the differentiator. Traditional metrics, those used by all the other competing products out there, are inaccurate at best and misleading at worst. And then over here, we go into like the kinds of metrics that they rely on to give you intelligence. And what's the problem? None of those reflect actual performance. Like, it's really cool that you're throwing a whole report at me and a nice pretty dashboard with a lot of numbers, but guess what? Those metrics don't actually have a connection to performance. So it's not going to move me forward. It's not going to save me money. It's not going to enable me to make smarter decisions in my business. None of these relate to the bottom line cost of your resources. So you're no further than you were when you started. We hired research scientists to change that. That's our difference. And you can over here see how I detail that a little bit more. We have a proprietary data set that was carefully chosen based on actual data in order to provide you performance intelligence that actually matters, that actually makes a difference. And then I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. That sounds different. Hunker sounds like it more reliably can improve my developer performance than other tools. So tell me more about that. You're telling me that your metrics are better than everyone else's? So what are your metrics exactly? Prove it to me. Back it up. And that's exactly the next section. What does Hunker measure? Value contribution, engagement ROI, spend efficiency, telling you exactly what Hunker measures, but instead of just throwing a bunch of dry terms at you, value contribution, engagement ROI, those are a little bit dry and abstract. What we did was we combined those terms with actual questions. So what is the monetary value of the developer's output? How can we link engagement irregularities to financial impacts? How high is the output relative to the cost? These are very specific questions that every engineering leader wants answered. And we are showing very clearly that these are questions Hunker can help you answer. So it brings it to life and makes it very real by structuring it in that question format. And we back up that claim and we say every one of these questions relates to your ROI, relates to your money, relates to your costs. And that's why Hunker is going to move you forward. And then the next section is like, okay, so this sounds cool to me, but is everyone else in the organization going to be happy with this software? Is it going to move them forward as well? Because in a large organization, you have a lot of players. And that's what the next section answers. Everyone performs better with Hunker. So you're going to look awesome using Hunker. The developers are going to look awesome using Hunker. How so? Now over here, if you hover over each one, it shows the questions that are answered with Hunker. So if you're a financial leader, you'll be able to answer, how can I enhance project and team performance? How can we shorten feedback loops? How can I identify bottlenecks? Those are very important questions for me to answer if I'm a financial leader. And if I'm an engineering leader, then I also want to know answers to certain questions. And if I'm a developer, then I really want to be able to effectively demonstrate my value and my impact. And this way it's showing this is not like a team that's a product that's going to be upsetting to developers, because it actually rewards the top performing developers. It lifts them up, it highlights their performance, and it enables them to shine. So it's going to make everyone happy, not just the finance people, not just the engineering leaders, but also the developers themselves. And that's very important because people want to know that the tool is going to be adopted by everyone. The next section is a mission section where we just kind of like take a step back and show what drives Hunker as an organization. Why does Hunker exist? What is the industry problem that Hunker is looking to solve? Didn't put that higher up on the page because it's not as essential to the customer messaging. And this next section gives you a little bit more of a sense of what you can expect to find when using Hunker. So drive massive productivity and reward your best performers. You get instant visibility into your most valuable talent, and then you encourage excellence for everyone. So here's like a much more specific example using screenshots of what you can expect. So over here, I'm going to see my top contributors. Over here, I'm going to see the top engagement efficiency. So the screenshots will be updated. Here we're going to see top contribution versus engagement value. It's showing you the different stats that you're going to be able to see and use when you get Hunker. Okay, this sounds amazing. Is this going to be very complicated for me to set up? Am I going to have to integrate it with my 1,000,001 tools? And if so, does it integrate with the software and the tech that I'm already using? Well, the next question answers that. No integrations because we don't need them. And this section communicates that Hunker is platform agnostic. It can work with any platform, any tech in the world. You just need to be using Git as a source core code repository. So that answers an important question that's on people's minds. And finally, we get to the bottom of the page. We established what Hunker is. We established who it's for. We established what makes it different. We backed up those differentiator claims with a lot of specific examples of the questions Hunker answers and what I can expect to see on a Hunker dashboard. And here's the final push to action. Here's where we want to get you to click a button and to start engaging with the team behind Hunker. So we want to, in a nice but strong way, remind you of the costs of not engaging and what you potentially stand to lose and gain. Lose by not moving forward, gain by moving forward. Maximize every dollar of your engineering spend by measuring the stuff that matters. So there's a little nod to the differentiator right over there. Anyone can measure stuff. It's not hard to measure things, but measuring the stuff that matters, that's going to affect my bottom line, that's unique. That's different. Stop pouring money into your developer team without knowing if it matches their performance. Are they really worth $10,000 a month? Is that the output that they're giving you or not? And what can we do to find that out and then proceed accordingly? Invest more strategically, measure the right metrics, reward your highest performers. So we're summarizing the core value props over there. And a final call to action, yes, I want to hear more. Very low commitment, very low friction. You're not signing up for a demo. I just want to hear more and explore if this can drive growth and save wasted spend for my team. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. I would love your thoughts and feedback. Hit reply and talk soon.